Hello everyone, I think I am live on YouTube after Manchester United have won the FA Cup final and it is the morning after. I went out to watch the game yesterday, so didn't have any reaction last night. But I'm back for a quick coffee this morning as it's bank holiday here in England and I'm going to Newcastle today with some of my mates, so let's go for that. But I just want to say I'm not going to be too negative today. It's only a very, very quick stream, just as my opinion on the game. We obviously set up right. City were always going to be vulnerable on the counter-attack. We always knew that. Everyone was concerned about Rashford playing. Myself, I wasn't concerned about Rashford playing, but I didn't think Rashford should start. But clearly, that was the tactic that was always going to work against City, wasn't it? Pace up front, get the ball in behind him and Garnacho down the wings. And Kyle Walker dealt with him well. And I think Rashford did okay yesterday, personally. He kept Walker occupied, either going for... He didn't beat him or anything, really. And he was out muscled by him and whatnot. But he pinned him back. He stopped Walker from getting too far up the pitch. And just being able to attack the whole time because he was scared of Rashford's pace on the break. And yes, Walker did deal with him okay, but I think Rashford did what he was asked to do yesterday, so no problems there. Obviously, City had most of the ball without creating any chances, really, especially first half. We were solid in shape. We countered them well. Looked like we could have scored a couple of times. And then, obviously, Gvardiol heads it over Ortega's head and Garnacho taps it in. But really, that goal is an absolute calamity from City, innit? Let's face it. Personally, I don't think Gvardiol really did anything wrong. I don't know why Ortega's charging out to the edge of his area. If he stays where he should be, Gvardiol's just nodding it back to him, innit? He picks it up and start again. Second goal is absolute class. It's a great ball out wide by Rashford. Cut inside. And then for once, I'll give Bruno a bit of praise. The vision that he had to not take that shot on and to slide it into Mainu was top quality. And then a good finish by Mainu. And the problem I have is Ten Hag's now won 2 trophies in 2 years. Everyone's saying keep him, keep him, keep him. And even he says in his post-match and everything that it's all about trophies at this club. And some would argue that that's the case. But I'm not going to go into it again, but the league form has been horrendous. And in the last 4 games, he's decided to change up the formation and we've been way better. Why hadn't he noticed this 6 months ago and we'd have probably been in a race for top 4? That's all I've got to say about it, but I'm not going to dwell on that. One thing I will say, some positives about Bruno. I think as a false 9 or playing in that front line in the middle, Bruno is so much better than when he's in the middle 3. I think we finally... I'm Bruno's biggest critic. I think we should get rid of him, this, that and the other. But over the last 3 or 4 games, playing in that false 9 position where impressing's not a problem, him being caught up too far up the pitch isn't a problem. It's where he's the most dangerous. My question to you is, are you happy for Bruno Fernandes to play in false 9 and for Højlund to be a bench player going into next season? Or if we do buy another striker, say if we bought Tony, Watkins, whoever, even if we bought Osman or whoever, it don't matter what striker, would you be happy to then drop Bruno back into that midfield 3 and go back to what we have been all season, a wide open centre mid? Or would you rather we kept Bruno in a false 9 and brought Højlund off the bench? Because personally, I think if Bruno Fernandes wants to stay in this team consistently next year, it's been proven over the last 4 games he has to play as a false 9. Because our midfield is so much better with him out of it. And you also forget we've got Amrabat and McTominay in that midfield. And we look way better in there. Imagine if we got like 2 other dynamic midfielders that are better than Amrabat and McTominay. Then some people would say, well, then you'd have better midfielders. Bruno could play in there. I still don't think he could because he leaves such a gaping hole in there. But that's just my thing on Bruno, some positivity around Bruno. To me, he has got to play in that false nine position with two other midfielders, well, three other midfielders behind him to stop the gaping holes happening. But I'm getting picked up shortly, so I just want to talk about a couple of other things. I mean, should Ten Hag stay? I mean, it's very harsh to sack him when he's just won the FA Cup. And I'm not going to go into my personal thoughts about Ten Hag, because personally, I do think he should still get the sack because of the season as a whole. I'm not a person who looks at the last couple of games and thinks, like, recency bias, he needs to stay. There's all of the facts around the reason, and 38 games plus the Champions League and every other cup this season, why he needs to go. Do I feel a bit sorry for him? Yes, he's won 2 trophies in 2 years. He's had a lot to deal with at the club. The takeover, people say injury crisis, falling out with people, player power, this, that and the other. Would I like to see what he could do under Ineos in the next year or two? I probably would. But from my personal opinion, if he'd have finished 4th, maybe even 6th, and I know we've got Europa League now, which gets him off the cuff a little bit. But if he'd have just done what he's doing now 3 or 6 months ago, we wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be saying he's had an okay season for what we've got and the injuries we've had. But 8th and -1 goal difference and 14 losses and all that lot, it still isn't good enough. Whatever you think, whether it's players, whether it's injuries, whether it's excuses, whatever it is, it ain't good enough. And do I think he's going to get sacked? Not based, just what my opinion is of the club and the way it's going. I'd be very, very surprised if come the opening of the transfer window, if Erik Ten Hag is still manager. Who will get is another question. Personally, I don't think we'll get McKenna or Southgate. It will be Tuchel, Poch or De Zerbi. I think it'll be one of them 3. I think McKenna's been talked about because he's done really well. He used to be at Man United. Obviously, Chelsea and Brighton are interested in him. If we're getting rid of the manager, we have to be linked to him because he is an up-and-coming manager. If McKenna was in Germany, like Alonso and that, doing what he's done in Germany, we'd all want him. It's because he's been here before, he's English, and people know a bit about him that don't want him. And this is why I always have a little bit of concern about people wanting so-called great players from Europe and managers when they've got no Premier League experience, because we seem to like... So people will go, well, I don't want McKenna, he's only managed Ipswich. Oh, it's crap football, this, that and the other. But we'll go get someone from RB Leipzig who's managed in a Farmers League in Germany and done okay because apparently they're the next big thing. But McKenna's probably as good, if not better. And it's the same with the striker talk. Why? I know people are going on about Sesko and all that lot, but yeah, he scored a load of goals wherever he is, in Germany, wherever he is. But as we see time in, time out, and we've seen with all the rest of Ten Hag signings, getting people from outside the Premier League and getting them into the Premier League is a different kettle of fish. We should stick with Højlund. We've got Bruno as a backup as a false 9. Go get an older, experienced striker to help him out when it gets tough up there. Tony, Solanke, someone who's done it in the Premier League. But yeah, I'm only going to make this a 10-minute stream. I just wanted to have a quick little talk about the FA Cup victory. Give the team some congratulations. Give Erik Ten Hag a bit of a send-off without being too negative on the guy, because, like I said, I do feel for him. But I think it's untenable what he's done this season, and give Bruno a bit of praise for once, and Rashford, to be fair. So, well done to the team. Let's move on. End of the season. If we're getting this manager change done, let's get it done and get straight in that window and get some players in that are going to make us a more solid team next season. Peace out.